like to introduce now our keynote speaker. Let me begin by saying the following. It makes absolutely no sense that someone like Patrick Sajak is here at our graduation, except that Patrick Sajak is a great man. He is not here because he is a famous man. He is here because he is a great man. Let me tell you about his life. He was born in Chicago. He went to Columbia College, where he began a broadcasting career as a radio announcer in 1967. In 1968, he joined the Army. He was deployed to Vietnam, where he was the morning DJ on the Armed Forces radio from Saigon. He opened the broadcast by saying, "Good morning, Vietnam." Following his military service, his career took him to Murray, Kentucky, Nashville, Tennessee, and finally in 1977 to LA, where he was a TV weatherman and talk show host. He's been the host of Wheel of Fortune since 1981, and like many of you probably, I grew up watching him on TV. He's earned 3 Emmy Awards, a People's Choice Award, and a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. I've always been struck by how kind Mr. Sajak is to the people on the show, how personal an interest he pays to each of them, and how he is always good-humored, always gentlemanly, always welcoming. And as I've gotten to know him a little bit, I see that that is not a front. He's actually like that. The way that he is on TV is the way that he is as a person. That is impressive. To our students, and to all of us, Pat Sajak is an inspiration because he has lived a life of fame, a successful career in the public eye, and he has always kept the important things first. He is an example of virtue and of devotion to his country. He is an excellent citizen, and he understands the importance of education. We are grateful to have him here today. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Pat Sajak.
Thank you, Dr. O'Toole. This being a solemn and serious occasion, let me begin by saying, wow, this is cool, isn't it? I mean, it really is. I'm very excited to be here. I do want to make one thing clear because frequently when I appear somewhere, there are some misunderstandings and people are expecting something else. So if you came for the wrong reason, I just want to announce I am not giving away cars or cash today. Being introduced by Dr. O'Toole is a strange experience for me. I've known the Arnn family for something like 25 years, and this will shock some of you in the room, particularly students, to know that Dr. O'Toole was not always Dr. O'Toole. She was little Katie O'Toole. No, Katie Arnn, I'm sorry. I'm so confused. And I'm so proud and in awe of what she, with the help, of course, of a wonderful staff and the faculty here and the parents and the students, what they have accomplished in these few years. So Dr. O'Toole and Dr. Arnn and Mr. Terry, and to the faculty and the parents and families and the members of the class of 2017, it really is an honor to be here. I flew in yesterday and came directly to the school and took a tour of about an hour and a half, and I met a lot of you and saw a lot of classes. I went into a kindergarten class, which like most kindergarten classes everywhere was well-behaved, respectful, quiet, and like most kindergarten classes everywhere, recited in unison the preamble to the Constitution. I then went to a second grade class, where they proceeded to recite in unison the Gettysburg Address. When I was in second grade, I was learning to memorize Ba Ba Black Sheep and learning to tie my shoes. So for those to the graduating class who've been working so hard the last 3 years at a classical education, I suspect it's sometimes easy to lose sight of what a magnificent place this is. But from the bottom of my heart, I tell you how in awe of all of you I am. and how much I congratulate you all for what you've accomplished here. It's really amazing. I live and work in Hollywood, and I also live much of the year near Washington, D.C., and in both places, the idea of a school such as Founders is not very popular. My show business colleagues in the West and my political friends in the East are very supportive of a more typical public school. They're supportive only to the point of not sending their children there. You might call that hypocritical, but I certainly wouldn't do that. I've been doing Wheel of Fortune since before all of you students were born, before most of the faculty was born, perhaps before many of these buildings were built. And in that time, I've become used to the strange phenomenon of celebrityhood. And one of the things I've learned is not to take it too seriously. Back in the 1950s, when the Today Show was just getting started on NBC, it was hosted by a man named Dave Garroway, and a regular on the show, he was there every day, was a chimpanzee named J. Fred Muggs. And J. Fred wore a suit and sat there and mugged and smiled and did all the things chimpanzees do. And he was hugely popular. He was on magazine covers. He received thousands of fan mails. People loved J. Fred Muggs. So I figure if a chimpanzee can become a celebrity, there's no need for me to take it too seriously when I go through life. I had another lesson on that a few years ago. I was at a Washington Nationals baseball game with my son, and the game was over. We were sitting about 3 rows up from the dugout, and I said, why don't we wait, let the crowd clear out? And as we were standing there, I noticed, as you do, you learn to notice peripherally when someone's coming at you to ask you for an autograph or a picture or a handshake or whatever. But there was a group of young girls coming over, and sure enough, they asked if I could take a picture, and I said, sure. And normally when someone asks that, they get next to you and then hand the camera to someone. In this case, they actually went to the row in front of me looking up, and I'm thinking, you know, they're very young. And I'm old. I don't want to crawl over these seats down here. So there was an awkward moment while we were all trying to figure out how to handle the situation when my son leaned over to me and said, Dad, they want you to take their picture. They had no idea. One must be humble. So I've gotten used to celebrityhood. I've also gotten used to being on television in front of millions of people. I don't think much about it now, but that's not true of most of our players, and as a result, sometimes they, in nervousness, will say silly things. We had one case, and this had nothing to do with nerves. This was something else, and this would not have happened if this player had been educated in this place. It was during a college week, of all things, and a young man, a college junior, as I recall, was working on the puzzle, which was as follows: mythological hero Achilles. And he was struggling. And all the letters got up there, so all he had to do was read it. He said, and I quote, mythological hero Achilles. So obviously we couldn't accept that. And look, I'm not making fun because people make mistakes, but what was rather appalling was his attitude about it. He was pretty unapologetic, and as we went to commercial, he leaned over to me and said, well, I'm a business major, as if that excused things. And that speaks to a growing idea in this country that secondary and higher education is about job training and not about learning the things that make us better people and better citizens. These graduates here chose a different path, a path that is certainly more difficult, certainly more challenging, but as you've heard from them today, certainly more rewarding. They chose a path that recognizes the need for an education that includes, as the mission statement here says, instruction in good character and civic virtue. And when I'm not selling vowels, as you heard, I'm the vice chairman of the board of trustees of Hillsdale College, and putting my family aside, there's nothing in my life of which I'm more proud. I was there as plans evolved for Hillsdale's Barney Charter School Initiative. I've had the opportunity to work with Steve Barney, an amazingly dedicated and generous man who feels strongly about the direction of education and has forcefully and successfully begun to do something about it. We were just at the spring commencement meeting, the board meeting, and you should know that every board member, every member of the staff faculty at Hillsdale, and some of whom you heard are here today, really salutes what you've done and is behind you and are so excited about this first graduating class. When you're asked to give a commencement address, the first thing you think about is what can you possibly tell these young men and women that they don't already know? Especially here at Founders, where simply because you chose to be educated in this particular way, I already know a great deal about them. I have a sense of their ambition and of their standards. I have a pretty good idea of where their moral compass points, and I know they're not afraid of challenges. I know they have people in their lives who care deeply about them, and I know that their futures will be filled with accomplishments and good works. In short, I'm not sure there's much need to try to inspire a group like this. They've already been inspired, and what they've accomplished is inspiring. So let me instead suggest a pitfall to avoid going forward, a pitfall not only for recent graduates, but for everyone in every corner of American society. It has altered the way we talk to one another, the way we perceive one another. It has perverted the notion of free speech, poisoned the academic environment, has turned the American political system on its head, creating a situation where opposing views are not only unwelcomed, they are deemed to be signs of evil intent. It has pitted friend against friend, coworker against coworker, and has even caused rifts within families. I'm talking about identity politics, the attempt not to unite us as Americans, but to divide us and set us against each other. The attempt to classify and categorize us by all sorts of measurements and standards. The attempt to subvert the values of some by proclaiming a new, superior set of values. And to a great degree, those who are making these attempts are succeeding, and their efforts are changing our country in fundamental ways. We are all members of groups. I'm of Polish descent. I'm a baby boomer, one of those tens of millions born in the aftermath of World War II. I'm a male. I'm Caucasian. But while all of these facts help shape me to varying degrees, I am mostly Pat Sajak. I am a unique individual, created by God and blessed to be born in a country whose founders believed that that very creation endowed me with unalienable rights, among them life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. I grew up in an industrial area of Chicago. My parents were divorced. We often struggled to make ends meet, but our struggles were no greater than millions of others, and I always believed that I could and I would overcome them. It never occurred to me that I was the hopeless victim of a system or that the success of others was inhibiting my ability to succeed. Envy and anger and resentment, these were wastes of time and energy. I always believed that an individual by the name of Pat Sajak would make something of himself. And I don't mean becoming a TV personality. I mean improving my life, making a difference in the lives of others, and growing up to become a contributing citizen of this great country. Today, this graduating class is made up of 11 individuals who have worked hard to be in this place and in this situation. They are from various backgrounds. Each of them has to deal with a unique set of challenges, but they did it. They were helped by parents, educators, friends, supporters of the school, and a whole host of others, but you did it. As you move on, however, you will find a world all too eager to diminish your accomplishment and minimize your individuality. Some of you will find yourselves in colleges that will try to define you and separate you by race, religion, politics, social attitudes. You'll be exposed to the notion that the truths you learned here at Founders are, well, sort of truths, subject to prevailing winds, that good character and civic virtue are flexible terms open to interpretation and alteration. You'll be courted by interests trying to establish an us against them mentality. Some of you will encounter disdain because you allegedly benefited from so-called privileges, while others will preach to you about your victimhood and how you must now separate yourselves from the forces that held you back. You'll be approached by political organizations who will try to convince you that because of the demographic groups to which you belong, defined by age or race or gender, that you must think and act and vote in a particular way, and that those who don't share a defined set of views and attitudes are automatically evil and malicious. Just as they try to diminish your individuality, they will try to discourage you from looking at others as individuals. The media is complicit in this effort to label things, sometimes entire generations. They love labeling folks. As I said, I'm a baby boomer, according to them, and you've heard a lot about millennials in the last few years. I don't think you're millennials. I think you're the next group, and they haven't figured out your name yet. But once they do, well, and it's good not to be a millennial because some of the traits ascribed to them are not terribly flattering: narcissistic, resentful of previous generations, addicted to their iPhones. Wait, I may be a millennial now that I think about it. In fact, if you just indulge me, I forgot to do something. Hold on just a moment. I've lost it. Oh my gosh, my phone's not here. Oh, here it is. I forgot to do this when I came in. Would you mind, folks, just everybody lean in a little bit that way? All right. Hold on. How do you turn this around? Oh, I see. There you go. Are you ready? I can't see you on that side a little bit. All right, on 3. 1, 2, 3. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Of course, these generalizations about millennials are just that. They are generalizations. My kids are millennials, and they're pretty good kids. And of course, they use their phones more than we did. If we wanted to use phones as a kid, we'd have to carry around a 5-pound device attached to a wall by a cord. And if we wanted to put wallpaper on it, we'd have to go to the wallpaper store, cut out a piece of wallpaper in the shape of a phone, and paste it to the phone. It's a laborious task, and it's very messy. As I said, there's still some debate what to call this generation. One is post-millennial, although I find that kind of boring. There's Generation Z. Have you heard that one? The 9/11 generation. Once they settle on naming you, they'll break it down and tell you how you act and what you wear and how you think. I prefer to think of this group as the first members of the Founders Academy generation. And I don't think you need to be told about yourselves. I have the feeling you know yourselves pretty well. I think you know how to measure your own success and define what brings you a sense of satisfaction and accomplishment. The fundamental problem with identity politics is that it reduces each of us. We are no longer human beings with individual hopes and dreams. We are commodities. We are groups to be labeled and courted and pandered to. We have no shared values of Americans, but rather we become a series of interest groups. We're told what it's thought we want to hear, and we divide ourselves into these pockets of groupthink, and we begin to speak only with others in our group. We know how we feel. We begin to decide ourselves into thinking that only the valid and true and moral way to feel is the way we feel. As you've learned here at Founders, the good and the true and the beautiful are not negotiable. They are not ideals that can be bent and shaped by political or social means. On the Hillsdale College website, you'll find the following. How do we measure good? Is it defined by the majority? Is it measured by self-satisfaction or personal fulfillment? The good of anything is found in its ability to accomplish what it was created for, to realize its purpose for existence as intended by its maker. Only in this realization can something truly be called good. The good is possible only in the light of truth, not truth that is often defined today by personal preference or popular consensus, but truth as it is, independent from opinions and emotions. And where goodness and truth exist, there you will find beauty. We were created for a purpose. That purpose is not left to chance or whim, but was determined by our Maker and written in our nature. Our purpose is to seek truth in order to discover and to act on what is good and beautiful in this life. This will always be a special class here at Founders Academy. No matter how many years pass, you 11 will always be the first graduating class. That puts you in a special place with special responsibilities. I urge you to resist those who would try to undo the basic truths you learned here, and to say no to those who try to classify and ultimately divide you into opposing identities. You are not Generation Z or whatever they want to call you. You are Bianca and Colton and Chase and Ashton. You are Clara and Ari. You are Jasmine and Ray and Emma. You are Basil. You are Natasha. You are the first graduating class of Founders Classical Academy. I congratulate you, and I thank you.